What's going on? Jason here. We're out here in Johnson Valley running my new build 2006 Tacoma through its paces. If you watched the previous video on this truck, we actually installed a set of Gen 2 74 well portals on the truck. And if you haven't, I'll just catch you up to speed. I got this truck to replace my rock crawler and another truck I had. It wasn't to replace both to the full extent. It was just something that would kind of fall in the middle, something I could take my family out to the desert, run some trails. It'd be fun and moderate whoops and stuff, but also be really capable in the rocks. And that's where I landed on portals. I wanted to try portals. I had never run portals on any other truck. I've done long travel trucks. I've done leaf spring, non-leaf spring, TTB, everything except for portals. So I got this truck with the intention to kind of see if I could make an all-arounder that I could drive to the trail, leave the trailer behind and not have to trailer a rig that was really capable in the rocks and still drive it home. So practice some restraint on the trail and figured why not give you a walkthrough. It's been about a month or so since we actually installed the portals and I've done a lot. Still want to do a lot, but let's get right into it. So this was actually kind of a dream truck. I've had every generation of Tacoma and it just kind of brings me back full circle. And the cool thing about Tacomas now, specifically the second gen, I think it's one of the most legendary Tacomas. These trucks are actually becoming pretty affordable. If you can scour the internet and find the right deal, you can get one of these trucks for a really good deal. This is an 06, so it's the first kind of rev of the Gen 2 Tacoma. And those are kind of ugly, and if you know these trucks, you know that this isn't exactly how it should look, and we'll get more into that. But I found this truck and I got a really good deal on it, and so I wanted to bring it full circle. It's kind of one of my favorite trucks ever, so figured why not start there. All right, so like I mentioned, this is a little bit different. This is an 06, so this is a pre-facelift Gen 2. So this right here is kind of the 2012 to 2015 facelift. And in my opinion, it's one of Toyota's best ever facelifts. It's like it gives it just enough aggression in the front, and they just minorly changed it, but they did it very, very elegantly. So that requires replacing your hood, this grille shroud, grille, headlights, and all of the supporting brackets as well. If you were going stock bumper, you would have to replace that whole bumper and all the bumper supports. Obviously you can see I don't have a stock bumper, and that's what I did. I sourced an OEM hood that happened to already be painted from a guy who went to a hood scoop, and then the rest kind of was just odds and ends. I went with a aftermarket headlight from Alpha Rex, which I think modernizes the truck and elevates it a little bit more than from 2015. You get like modern headlight tech with a little bit of bump and aesthetics, and I couldn't be more stoked. So this turned out really nice. And then moving on, I just kind of started to, what are my goals with the truck, and went into kind of armor and stuff. Yeah, so with kind of all the choices in armor and stuff, I wanted to kind of split the difference between not full rock crawler and crazy, a bunch of plate and a bunch of heavy. I wanted to split the difference of like a pre-runner and a rock crawler. So let's call it a rock runner. I wanted to kind of keep it light where I could, but keep it protected where I knew I would need it. I wanted ground clearance, approach angle, departure, all that stuff. And I wanted the capability of like having a winch and some auxiliary lighting. So this right here is a Relentless bumper. I went with their bumpers because one, I think they have some of the best looking bumpers. They're a small crew, they're making this stuff in the US. It's a husband and wife team. And honestly, just like I said, aesthetically, I think they are some of the sharpest looking bumpers that are beef. They can handle rock crawling stuff, but they cut the weight where they can without cutting in corners. So up front, I outfitted this thing with the lights of my choice. I run Baja Design lights on every rig. It doesn't matter if it's a desert truck, rock crawler, whatever, or even like a daily. Just wanted to keep it clean and simple. Like I said, this thing isn't doing 70, 80 miles an hour through whoops. So I don't need a ton of like Baja race lighting, but I do need some, extra over these headlights. So Baja Design's 30-inch light bar up front. Then I went with some Squadron pods and then some S2s. So kind of as they go out further on the truck, they get wider and spread. That's what I really love about Baja Designs, is they give you the ability to, as your needs change, and depending on the rig, I can move these lights to a different truck and change the output in the throw. So out here I have wide cornering, here I got driving combo, which gives you like a spot and a wide throw. And then the bar in the center is a driving combo. So it's gonna have on the ends, it's gonna have some throw, and then it's gonna push the light out further like a spot. All right, so wheels and tires, probably my favorite wheel of all time. Big KMC fan and a big fan of this Mesa Forged beadlock. Now this is a kind of not a common one that I use, because with the portals, it is recommended that you use a high positive offset wheel. So this was a custom drilled wheel. This is a positive 25, 17x9. And like I said, Mesa Forged beadlock. And I wrapped it with some Nitto trail grapplers, 37 1250, which is quite a large tire for these Tacomas, but with the portals, it's not too much work, to be honest, to make them fit. You got to cut some fenders, push the firewall back, get aggressive with that cab mount chop, but as you can see, we're out here wheeling it and it's doing great. Yeah, so with the suspension, I went with something I've never tried before. I am running some Peak upper control arms as well as their coilovers. And then we get into the back, I'll show you, it's something a little custom from them. But so far so good. I have about 1,500 miles on this setup with a lot of highway, but a couple hundred miles now of off-road, and so far so good. All right, so as you can see, fender flares need a little bit of work. Trimmed all the mounting points on them, and we've been pushing this thing through the paces, so the tires are getting into them. But since we're back here, let's get into the rear of the truck. So I did everything that Archive Garage has to offer for these trucks. So their shock relocation kit, I did their bump stops. I'm testing a new leaf pack for them. So this is their light duty pack. It's more of a pre-runner, low lift, low load capacity, but gets all the travel, gets all the droop you need. Also running their hammer hangers, shackles, and their U-bolt flip kit with their bumps. So they really paid attention to what the Tacoma needs. This thing needs suspension, travel in the rear to keep up with the front. They're really capable trucks once you kind of dial them in. So stoked to be running this. I ran these on a previous truck and just wanted to go full circle on this thing. Now I mentioned something with the Peak stuff up front, and it was cool because I told Peak my goals for this truck and I wanted to run this Archive Garage stuff. And so they were actually willing and able to build me a custom 14-inch 2.5 smoothie rear shock for their relocation kit that Archive Garage offers. And they nailed it. That thing popped right in. I was able to get everything in the truck and it's blowing me away. This is a mid-travel truck. This is on some light tuning through them and valving, and they killed it. So the bed setup, I wanted to keep it modular, but really simple. I'll use the bed. So as you can see, I got a 37-inch spare, so full-size spare with a beadlock, Y-strapped in with a speed strap, and that's tying in off the RCI bed stiffeners. And then throughout the whole perimeter of the bed, I did built right panels, which as you can see gives you the ability to mount stuff. So I got some shovels in here. I got my power tank with the snorkel. So all I have to do is reach over, plug the hose in, and I can fill up tires, use air tools, whatever you want. And I mean, Molly panels are versatile. So I wanted to have the ability to just like clamp little things to it and be able to like set it up for different scenarios. All right, so around back, Relentless bumper as well. They run their rigs in the rocks, so they think about stuff like where's your license plate gonna go when you get into the rocks. They've also put some really clever spots for some flush mount Baja Designs S2s in here, as well as underneath for rock lights, which is rad. Like I mentioned before, hammer hangers, I've already bashed them on some rocks. We're out here in the desert just doing some testing. And as you can see, an insane amount of ground clearance. That's a huge benefit of the portals. RCI skids all the way around, diff, transfer case, transmission, as well as engine. RCI got it dialed in. So that's really it. I mean, simple build. A lot of stuff has changed, but it's really obtainable, easy stuff you can do in your garage over time. I mean, it's been like, I think, almost a month since we did the portal install, and I got a whole new truck. So just thought about it, wanted to have something that split the difference between a desert truck and a rock rig that I could drive to and fro to the trail, bring my family along, have AC and heater, and I couldn't be more stoked so far. So obviously, if you haven't seen the previous video where we did the portal install, make sure you subscribe to 74 Welds YouTube channel. You can follow me on Instagram, Taco Dust on Instagram, if you want to keep up to date on where this build is going to be going. And until then, we'll catch you on the next one.